everyone, this is Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I am here with a Get Sketchy with Christy and Rachel episode. So you might have noticed that on our last episode, I had done the scrap lift and she had done the sketch. We had a little bit of miscommunication there and we both did the opposite. So today we're going to do the other opposite. So this is the sketch that I'm working with and I love it. I love the one photo and then the scallops here. This makes me really want to use a 6x6 pad. So I'm going to think about doing that. And I just thought I would, for a change, go through the photo options I've got. But first of all, my son's crying, so I'm just going to go get him and I'll be right back. Okay, so he finally fell asleep. I'm very, very sorry if you could hear him screaming. I do apologize. I know it's kind of frustrating sometimes when you can hear a bunch of background noise. So hopefully you can bear with me. When I get on to fast forward, there should be no screaming kids, I promise. So I thought it would be fun to go through the photos I want to use, or I'm thinking about using. So this sketch calls for one photo, and when I saw the sketch, my first thought was to do this photo, and it's just of my scrap area. I now have a new, as you can see, it's pink now. It used to be white, so it's already changed a little bit, but this is when it was nice and clean, and now it's a huge mess. But I want to get this scrapped. I really like that. I also have this photo of Jackson, and he is sitting watching his show, but it just kind of shows what life is like with a toddler. Nothing stays where it belongs. It all ends up on the floor. And I just think it's something worth documenting, and I just kind of like the way that the photo was taken. It's kind of at an angle, and I really like that. So I was thinking about taking that as well. So that's another option. I also have this photo of myself and my niece, and I love her little face. She just looks so funny. It was a very hot day when we were out, but again, just another layout to scrap about my niece. I have this one of, this is my mom, and this is Jackson, and this photo was probably taken in February-ish of 2014, so Jackson was a whole month old at the time. I just love it. I love again, it's the angle of it, and my mom is just so happy to be a grandma, and I really want to scrap that. And Jackson has a lot of grandmas and grandpas, so my mom goes by Nana. And what I also really love about this is even in the background, and it's only going to matter to me, no one else is ever going to know this, but this is my grandma, not my mom's mom, but my dad's mom. And I just love that I can kind of see her hand holding a cup of, holding some coffee. It's just, I like that. So anyways, I have that photo. I have this photo of Sean and myself holding hands back to back, and just another one just about my bump. I've documented quite a few photos about this, and I think I've almost said everything I want to with my maternity shots, but I still have this photo and I really love it. I also have one where Sean is kissing my bump, and I love that one too. I just haven't quite figured out how to document them yet, but I still want to get them into our album. So I'm holding on, and eventually I'll find a way to scrap that one. I have this photo. This is a little more recent, and I just kind of want to document that Jackson just refuses to wear clothes at home sometimes, and it's funny, and I just like it. It's who he is, and he's very free. He's a free spirit, and I adore my little guy. But again, just something to document, a story to be told if and when I'm ready to document it. And then I have this one that during the summer, when he was really upset, he always wanted to be outside, but it would be close to bedtime, so that wasn't always necessarily allowed. But he would love to just let Sean hold him and him just be outside and look around, and just another story worth documenting. I like to document the stages of his life and how fast it changes, so I try to take photos of like little moments that are happening now so that I can recall them to document them later. So that's kind of what one of this is, and I just love how he's staring at me like, Mommy, I don't want to go to bed. So I love that. And then I have this one, and this one I used in my Project Life for 2014, but I've condensed that, and so I did take this one out, but I loved it, and I love that I had done stitching, and I really, really like it. So I still want to document it. And I already have my journaling, and again, it was a stage in his life and proof that now that Jackson was here, there's baby stuff everywhere. And this will be going into the family album for 2014 because it's just documenting proof of having a baby. I just really like it, and it kind of will already tell me the color scheme I could use, and there's a circle, so using this would be repetitive, and it would make sense. So I'm kind of leaning towards using this one or this one, but I haven't figured out which pattern papers or anything I want to use yet, so I'm not exactly sure. But I just wanted to show you, sometimes when I'm thinking about photos, I do grab a stack that is possible depending on what the sketch calls for, and then I could take this, go from there, and then run with it. Anyways, I'll get you on fast forward and we'll see what I can create.
Alrighty, so I'm showing the sketch one more time just to show you how I figured out how to place these half circles that I cut. Almost everything is from my stash, with the exception of the black and white polka dot right there and the hashtag line, that black and white polka dot. And then there's also one that has, like, I don't know, just different lines throughout, and that's from Amy Tan. The black and white, I can't recall what it's from, but everything else I'm going to use is from my stash. So I'm going to just frame up my photo in a little bit. I like to do this. I like to do corner pieces, and I just like the way that it looks. It's not a perfect frame, but it works. And was thinking about using this other piece to back it with, so that Amy Tan piece, but the blue just wasn't tying in. So I thought, no, I'm gonna edit myself and not do that. So what I'm gonna do is take that away, and instead of using that, I'm going to grab the piece of purple that I have, and I'm going to back it with that, as I thought that it would probably work a little bit better. I know I have a son, and I know some people don't like the idea of using like girly colors on boy layouts, but for me, this layout itself is going into our yearly album, so it's not going into his personal album. So I don't mind there being a couple girly elements, because really I'm documenting the fact that there's proof that there's a baby in the home, but not the fact that the baby's a boy or anything like that, just that there's a lot of stuff that comes with babies. And so I didn't mind using purple. So long story short, sorry about that, I just used that to back it, so it's got a double like mat to it. I'm then going to grab some tissue paper as well, and I'll back that there in a minute. But first, I'm looking at it saying it's missing something. And I thought it might be neat to do some black stitching around the half circles and just border my layout, which I'm going to show you right here. And the reason I did that is partly it's on the sketch as well, but the other reason is that little 3x4 card that says "Remember this forever." It's obviously a black card, so I needed to pull in a few more black elements, and I thought that using black thread, so for my stitching, would help a lot. So here I am bringing in that tissue paper like I told you, and I'm just going to crease it once, and just to help. It's very subtle. You can see it. It's noticeable, but it's not like, hey, there's a whole bunch of tissue behind this photo. So I like that. I think it's just another layer, and I love to add layers upon layers. So I put that there, and then I'm going to do some more thinking. I did a lot of thinking in this layout. And I have this cut apart that I have. This is a Studio Calico collection. I just can't recall what it's called. And I wanted to use that clock because it kind of represented the time frame that we were at in our lives with having Jackson and all that. So I knew I wanted to use that clock, but I couldn't figure out how I wanted to use it. And so what I do is I'm like, okay, I've got to stop. I've got to walk away. So I walked away and came back another day. And I had this piece it's just a branding strip, and I just simply took out cut apart that for the banner, and then I decided that I really like the effect that's the outcut from cutting out the banner, and I love the color. It matched perfectly, so I'm going to add that at the top, and then you can see that I just simply cut out the clock and then also the hello. And so that's just going to be an element on the page. So that was how I was able to incorporate that clock that I wanted to use. And then I'm going to use my title, and it's the same word, just repeated 3 times. I really liked it. I got to use 3 different colors, so I tied in the black and white, the teal, and the purple. And then I'm going to do my final touches with embellishments, and that's going to wrap up my layout. So please don't forget to go check out Rachel's take, and we'll be back in March with our next episodes. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye!